I'm gonna ask you trivia questions randomly. Thomas and Eran, if they cannot answer, then we're gonna let someone else answer, okay? So, shuffle it. First one. If you look back, what was an important change or innovation PLPR introduced? Any of you?
One of the important innovations we did, and I think it was back in 2016, to start two innovations that still are with us. One is a full-day PhD workshop, which we have since, and the other one, which we didn't do that in this conference, but most of the time we have 105-minute sessions to allow for more time to discuss. This time we decided to have 3 presentations per 90-minute sessions in order to enable a lot of discussion. Most conferences do have smaller slots, so these are 2 innovations that PLPR made. Do you want to add something?
Yeah, I strongly echo the PhD workshop. I think one thing that makes the organization so special is the rotating nature of the conference. The fact that we move from one place to another every year, and that we depend on local hosts who volunteer their time and energy to do this again and again.
Thank you. I've picked another one randomly. A secret of PLPR that only few know.
You want to start?
Do you want me to spoil yours, or Thomas commented earlier, nobody knows, but PLPR doesn't really exist. There's no such corporate entity. It's an association that exists on the internet, and no bank account or anything like that. Another secret is just how difficult it is to put together a program when you have so many submissions from different disciplines and approaches on different topics, and yet it always works in the end.
Yeah, well, what can I add? Yeah, the secret that PLPR legally doesn't exist is the big in the room, I guess. Another secret that I can tell, when we organized the 2010 conference, that the registration number, when you submitted an abstract, you got an automatic reply, and it didn't start with number 1. It started with a random number between 1 and 100 in order to encourage people.
Thank you, guys. So here's another one. How do you convince a newcomer to come to PLPR?
Don't drink.
I just don't give them an option. I mean, there is no alternative to it, but it is, and I'm deeply convinced about that, especially for young academics. I keep telling them, go out as early as possible, meet peers, and go to a conference where you can have ample time to discuss. And there are major conferences out there. I will not name drop any of them, but there are conferences where you have many presentations squeezed in tiny slots, and there's barely time to discuss. And I think what I love to encourage to, especially young scholars, is come to PLPR and enjoy the discourse. And Dick, you wanted to add something?
Here's something I've been coming to these for a long time, and I learned a long time ago that every time I come to these, I learn something new that I didn't know, because I'm engaging with friends and colleagues in a way I hadn't engaged before. So Thomas and I have been having amazing discussions about how to deal with race, and whether you put it on a wall or not, and what that means. We've known each other for 20 years, and we've never had that conversation. It's been really cool. So every time you come, you're going to learn something new that you didn't see coming.
What I would do is just show them your slideshow, on YouTube preferably.
Okay. A tradition we should never lose.
The get-together drinks is a tradition that I would never do away with. But also, again, just to go back to this rotating venue.
One thing I would like to add is that over time we developed the idea that for the conference we want to learn something about the location. We don't usually meet at a professional venue location or a big hotel, well, once we did. But we want to learn about the specific location. So the keynote, the opening keynote, is always about the specifics of that specific location, because we're interested in space. And I think that is something I would love to endure, and we should never lose that.
Okay. Another one. We have time for another one. What was the most special conference venue? Oh, that's tricky.
For me, it was Hong Kong. All the planning, law, and property rights issues and problems magnified to the extreme. It was almost overwhelming in its scope.
For me, it was Belfast, when we were in Hotel Europa, the most bombed hotel in Europe. Not just because of the historic site of it, but there was the Crown Bar just across the street where we continued our debates. Yeah, so that was quite special.
So we have time for one last question. Tell us about the conference moment we'll never forget, or the most exciting session.
Okay, anybody who wants to respond to that one? A very special or exciting session you remember? I can, otherwise I will probably start and give an example. It was also Belfast. I was a young academic, I'm still a young academic. And it was one of the last presentations of the day. I presented together with Barry Needham on PLPR. And it happened that all of a sudden there was a discussion coming up. I'm not sure, Ellen, I'm not sure whether you were the chair of that session, it could be, but all of a sudden, all of us were standing up and pointing fingers and discussing and gesturing. It was really good. It was a vibrant discussion. And then, as indicated, we went out of the venue to the Crown Bar and continued exactly that debate. So that was for me a very special moment.
And this is going to be nerdy, but for me, it's the discussion that you and I had in Volos about Ronald Coase, something that we did several times over the years.
Anybody wants to add something on that? Okay.
Karaoke!
Karaoke in Ann Arbor.
That one didn't make it
Okay. So with that, we would like to briefly hand over to our founding president, Rachelle. She's joining online. Let's see if the sound works in a minute. And Rachelle will address us probably as soon as the microphone and everything works. Rachelle, you can address us. Everybody's seeing you now on a very big screen. Can you say something to test whether the audio works, Rachelle? Rachelle, can you hear us? Not yet.
כן, אני שומעת.
Yeah, now we can hear you. Everybody can see you. You're on a very large screen.
Hi, everybody. I'm not with you, and I think that was a scheme by the gallbladder stones that attacked me in order for me to sit back and enjoy the 20 years from a distance, and everybody else did this work about this celebration. I want to say a few words about other factors or aspects that make PLPR unique. From the inception, when I founded it, I said no budget and no supra-institutional custody. And it's so until today. That's one tradition we should keep. Nobody gets any money. Everybody works voluntarily, and we don't have any big bosses to tell us what to think and what to study. Can people hear me? Because I can hear noises. And Liat, can you take yourself off the picture? I can't see the room. Maybe then I'll see. Okay, great. The energy. May I continue? May I continue? In a way, not being able to go over simply because of those gallbladder stones who refused to take such a long trip from Israel to Atlanta, I'm enjoying myself through the computer. But I'd like to tell you more about the inception of PLPR because it matters. Land is the cause of international conflicts. Land is very political internationally. It's also obviously political with a small p, but with a big P, it's a cause of wars. When I decided that, as a comparative researcher, I decided in the early 2000s that I'd like to form an international platform for people to exchange views. It may be difficult for you all, for us all to realize that there was no way that people interested in planning and law from different countries could meet. For my own comparative research, I sought out the expert in law, and planning and law, but they didn't have a common platform or common language or common agenda. So I decided that I should use this knowledge of sporadic people and form some way in which we could mature through academic exchange. That was very difficult. If it weren't that I happened to have grown up, born in Israel, by the way, if there hadn't been Israel, I wouldn't have been born. But that's my life trajectory. I had a hunch that institutionalizing PLPR at the Technion in Haifa, although it was feasible, it would encounter quick kidnapping by whatever current dispute over land was in the Middle East. And wow, can you imagine holding a PLPR conference in our region? So I needed to do acrobatics out of home. And I decided there is a peaceful country that everybody in Europe loves. Let's see, that's another trivia that those who don't know the real history could ask, which is that country that I selected to try and do acrobatics without having a university status at all? Which is that country?
Netherlands.
France? Yeah, people know. France? No. The UK? No. Italy? No. The Netherlands. So that country, which seems peaceful, it's not really, but it is. It fights water all the time. I invented a sabbatical year, and my husband and I went there. And then I needed to find an institution. It was not easy because for almost a decade before, through ASOP, the Association of European Schools of Planning, I tried to get a group every year to get a group aside, and a few of you may have been in the maybe last round or two of this attempt. And every time I said, let's form this kind of association. And people said, what's an association? Do you want a research center? Do you have funding for a research center? I said, no, it's an academic association only, like microbiology, like certain areas, solid state physics, just a topic that, or in our case, a multidisciplinary topic that people want to talk about in a conference. No affiliation, no agenda, no money. Nobody came up. Nobody year after year to offer this. So in the Netherlands, I had to find some way, and I didn't. I was in a sabbatical in Nijmegen, that's Radboud University today, and in Wageningen. Neither of them, nor Amsterdam, nobody wanted it. So I had to find another way. So I found my way to a research institute in building law in The Hague. And I kind of invited myself, and I said to that lady, it was a freestanding research institute, why don't you host it? She said, me alone? So I said, why don't you do that with the Dutch government? And I had already known the planning law people in the Dutch government because they wanted me to inform them a year or 2 or 3 ago about other countries. They didn't know. So I said to them together, meet each other. They had never met before, even though they're both stationed in The Hague, Den Haag. So got together, and then I said to the government, I said, I want to do some kind of a launching event, but I don't have a university. Would you like me to point out planning law experts that you will invite a year before you approve your planning law revision? It's not the revision that's on now. It was a 2008 revision. So we scheduled February 2007 for me to bring several professors from Europe and the US, invited by the government, to react to their planning law. And I still did not have an academic venue. And here I want to give credit to the 2 persons without whom this organization would not have been founded, because I had to find an academic venue. And that was the late Leonie Janssen, who offered. She was a postdoc at Amsterdam University. She died very young at 42. Superstar, you see many of her pictures in the early years. And her supervisor was Willem Sallet. Both of them said, okay, I checked with them a little bit, and they said, okay, we happen to have a conference scheduled at Amsterdam University in February of 2007. Why don't we add 1 more day? And that's how the government meeting with one of the constitutional court, the head of the constitutional court presiding in that meeting, that was 1 day, and the second day was Amsterdam University. Leonie is the one. With Leonie, I wrote the regulations. With Leonie, we created the flag we still have, and the regulations we still have. I'm so sorry that I think Dutch colleagues we have not done good enough testimony to her memory. She was the second president and so on. And since then, the energy is all of you. And the most fabulous people, I don't want to mention everybody, you know who they are, with many innovations. You asked about innovations. Many innovations year by year. And who mentioned about traveling from place to place? It's not unique. It's a common way to do it in Europe by many organizations, and even ACSB in the United States travels from year to year, from place to place. But they always go to those expensive hotels as a venue. So, I think that I'm so rewarded. I think that if somebody did a piece of research to do some network data on collaborations among PLPR attendees over time. Now, one needs some probability statistics for that, because one needs to also calculate sort of what would have been the probability span for these 2 or 3 persons to have met otherwise. Once you put that probability, which is going to be quite small usually, unless it's colleagues from, you will see that our outputs have revolutionized the knowledge level of planning and law and regulation and institutions. And the most wonderful brains, the most wonderful people. So we all owe to all my successors and Leonie's successors. And I want to thank Willem Saret, who was not that active, but he's the one who allowed, who welcomed that first conference. And wow, we'll see everybody in Oslo. I'm kind of jealous that I'm not there, proud and jealous. So maybe we do a recap in Oslo. Now you also know why we meet in February. It was February that, okay, I'm finishing. It was February that the government meeting and the Amsterdam thing was possible, and we keep that tradition too. Thanks all the presidents, the vice president, the secretaries, and the current ambassadors. Thank you all. They wave the Weber flag so they get Maine. See you all.